screen and start your presentation because we are a little bit delayed in this session.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Apologies for coming in late. We somehow missed the timing. We got it wrong. We were preparing for 2. And I'm here on behalf of the team. I'm Dr. Ojo from University of Johannesburg in Pretoria. In Johannesburg. And I'm also here with my partner, Dr. Margaret Moyani from Wits University in South Africa. We are going to be presenting, sorry, just a minute. Can you assist? I'm trying to share it, it's not showing here. Please, can you see the screen?
There's information that you started screen sharing, but I'm at least still waiting for that.
Okay.
And hopefully it will appear in one moment. So, but please, is it possible to present in 10 minutes just to keep 10?
Yes, I'll do that fast. Okay, thank you. The theme for our paper, it's the impact of social media on the #EndSARS youth protest in Nigeria. And the aim of the paper is to actually look at the use of social media as channels of communication to found expression in political, economic, social, and business aspects of human dealings and engagement. And the paper actually examined the outcome of the protest regarding the change in government policy reactions and proposed policies which has been geared towards the regulation of social media and the implications on future social media. Just like we all know, the emergence of ICT and digitalization has actually enabled better communication strategies, even in the scientific environment. And the paper drew critical insight of the effort of the Nigerian youth on the strategic use of social media using the secondary sources to understand and explain the strategies that influence the government policy and decision-making through the use of ICT and social media in the age of digitalization. #EndSARS first appeared on Twitter in 2017, and this hashtag eventually became a famous social movement in Nigeria. It took momentum when the video went viral of the SARS officials shooting a young man in a white SUV and stealing his car, leaving him dead on the road. And this social media report of SARS abusing their power and victimizing the citizens was passed and actually mobilized through the social media. The target of the SARS was the rich people who were in possession of the iPhones, the laptops, those who own cars and expensive things in Nigeria. However, the Nigerian EndSARS process was led purely by the Nigerian youth and without any formal leadership structure and mentoring, but basically fueled by using the social media itself. In the effort of the police brutality in the effort to protest police brutality in Nigeria, international celebrities were actually involved in this #EndSARS movement. And they were actually influenced by the social media, and to the extent that the United Nations Secretary General also called for the instant end to police brutality and the injustice of killing the Nigerian youth who were tired of the harassment, basically because of the hashtag movement on the social media. So this profound heart of using the online platforms to raise awareness and to call for the dissolution of the movement actually raised and captured a global imagination, which resulted in the widespread of protest by the Nigerian youth. So the question is, what are the impact of this social media on the Nigerian youth's EndSARS peaceful protest? Since its inception, the social media has marked a turning point in a communication network, and billions of people all over the world are now digitalized, practically more because of the global pandemic or of the COVID-19 that we are actually experiencing. So the social media, amongst other things, have given people the opportunity to obtain information from individuals directly, rather than relying on existing knowledge from a media organization. And as the web, the technology usage made global waves, the Nigerian community itself experienced a massive surge in the social media usage, and they benefited from the different social movement, which we eventually saw in the EndSARS. So the social media does not only affect the mobilization of resources, but also facilitate the restructuring between the social movement relationships regarding this movement. It also enabled the restructuring of public space and change the communication and information flow within the society. And this has led to a significant shift in the social network structure. The social media also acted as a platform for different people, different identity, different ethnic group to share, build, and collect their emotions and feelings, which they've been unable to do for a long time. And it led to what we call a new type of virtual collective identity, which social movements have capitulated upon this protest. So Nigerians use the social media channel to express their feelings, disappointment, unhappiness at the poor government leadership and the structural inequality in the different regions. So according to the report that was released in 2019, it was related that there have been not less than 50% increase in social media users in Africa since its emergence. And this act and all these social movement acts actually prompted and facilitated better social media usage and the means of communication within its people. Looking at the limitation of social media and good governance in Africa, the EndSARS protests drew attention to the inability of social media platforms to completely overhaul the ineffective governance structure to reflect and respond to the needs of the people. And this is one of the things that the governance, African governance, are also trying to capitulate upon. I'm sure we are all aware of the recent move now on the ban for Twitter in the country due to the tweet that was made by the government, by the president, which was banned. So for these various reasons, the inherent weak nature of African states, and especially Nigeria, and the challenges that are surrounding the governance structure have been questioned, and this social media has been used as a way to challenge the good governance which is expected to be in place in Africa itself. Studies have shown the connection between social media and security, and we can see that this has led to restrictive regulations of social media usages by different governments in African states, and this has also led to a general fear among the political leaders in Africa that social media platforms can be conduit for security concern, which actually led to the ban. And there are different cases of different African countries, Ethiopia, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Sudan, and so on, also regulating the social media in order to be able to cap their people. In conclusion, the Nigerian Youth #EndSARS protest is a study that has advanced the debate on using social media in influencing government policy and agitating for good governance in Africa. Without any doubt, the style of #EndSARS protest of the Nigerian youth can stimulate what we call the youth-led social media peaceful protest across Africa. Although it had a bloody ending, it might introduce a productive policy-making processes and good governance on the African continent. The paper showed that there is capability that is embedded in the citizens of Africa to initiate desired changes in the social, economic, and political development of their country through the uses of social media platform. And in addition, ordinary individuals across the African state can actually mobilize themselves in a peaceful manner to pressurize and assist their government for better governance. However, we argue that there is a need to reconcile the mainstream information outlets and social media platforms to effect and influence any meaningful policy change in Africa. So the mainstream media outlets, which has been in existence for decades, and many Africans, especially in the cosmopolitan cities, with the use of internet, still heavily rely on them. So this using social media might strengthen the protest for good governance and put more substantial pressure on African government to effect relevant and needed social, economic, and political changes that we need in this fourth industrial revolution. In addition, we applaud the role of social media protest. It is also essential to note that the proliferation of fake news sites whose aim is also scaremongering, it's something that needs to be debated and worked upon. These fake sites, these platforms might be prone to spreading misinformation, which can also instigate unnecessary protest as much as possible. We'll say that it is essential to have models that will filter a good, clear, effective content, which can play a critical role in the separation of width from the fears of information dissemination. Thank you very much. I hand over to you.
Thank you very much also for respecting our short time, because we have been, delayed a little bit. So just briefly, do we have any question from the audience before the short virtual coffee break? So again, I would say that I'm happy to see that social networks can be used also for some other purposes, including to give a pressure on our governments to improve the situation in the country and resolve some issues.
Yes.
But I still believing that that television is the main marketing stream for politicians, and unfortunately, but I believe it can be changed in the future.
Okay.
Any question from the audience besides this, my comments? There is in Q&A 2 questions. Nice, all the best. That's just one comment. And would you say that the EndSARS was able to achieve its purpose? What can you say about government response to the protests?
I think Dixon is in the house. Dixon, do you mind answering that, or should I go ahead? Is it there, Dragon?
Let me check to see whether the Dixon is there.
Or Margaret?
Dixon is unfortunately not with us.
He's not, okay.
Neither Margaret, just you.
Okay. Okay, so the first question was, yes, I will say that EndSARS actually did actually achieve their main purpose. The interim of the protest was to ensure a peaceful protest, but to actually enable that they attract the global the global support, you know, and ensure that people are actually aware of what is going on within the country, which they actually achieved. They were able to use Twitter and all these other means of social media to actually gain the global audience. And that was why I was explaining earlier on, to the extent that even the United Nations Secretary, something that have never happened before, intervened. You know, he also commented on such issues. So I would say that, yes, they did achieve the aim. And the response of the government, we all saw what happened. That is still a long way to go. Yeah, it was quite an apologetic situation, and it was a bit disappointing the way it was handled, and with youths being massacred and arrested on a peaceful protest. I would say that African governance still has a long way to go in embracing embracing effective, constructive, you know, feedback from their citizens, and actually listening to them to respect what they are saying. So there are still a lot of panels that are discussing on this issue, but just like, you know, all these things fades off eventually with nothing towards that end. So the governance approach